Hello, good morning. Hola, continuous liners. This is Megan Burns coming to you live from the streets of La Ciudad de Mexico, aquí in Condesa. Yeah, I live in Condesa. It's very tree filled, it's very park filled, it's got big old trees. Rumor has it that when you wanted to move here after the revolution in the early 20th century, you had to plant a tree. And it shows because there's a ton of trees here. Let me move you closer. Let me get you closer. Can you see me now? Can you hear me now? There's a gas truck filling up a terraza right now, so it's a little rumbly, but I'm guessing that he's going to be on his way soon. As soon as they fill that, excuse me. So I'm right here on the avenue that the park is right there. The park I used to go to 1,200 times a day when I had dogs, right? So this is high traffic avenue for los perros de la ciudad. And oh my, there are a lot of perros de la ciudad. Let me get my hair out of my way here a little bit so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Yeah, Friday, May 12th. Boy, the week flew by, didn't it? I mean, it feels like they all. What did I do with my bag? Uh-oh, I'm reconnecting. I hope we have a good enough connection. All right, let's do some line warm-ups here. Why the heck not? If you're with me, get your pen. Or if you're chiming in later, I hope you've done your warm-ups or will do them with me, right? So Friday here in the city, I've got my fundamentals class here shortly. So I always like to go out and get a bike ride in and then do some check-in with my crew. Is anyone there? Can anyone hear me now? I mean, I think the connection here is a little wobbly, but that can be said about a lot of places. Let me have a sip of my delicious coffee. I spilled a little bit of it, so I kind of made a mess. Let me clean myself up here a little bit. But look at my beautiful coffee. Yay! Coffee time. Honestly, it's one of the best times of day, isn't it? Having that first cup of delicious coffee. I mean, truly. Is there anything like that first cup of coffee? Especially when you're about to do some drawing, too, right? So that just makes it even cooler. I have a very small table. Let me move things around here a little bit. Yeah, so continuous line storytelling. I went to the, all right, I'm going to get started. I'm going to stop my blabbing. I'm going to keep blabbing. But I'm going to start doing my lines here because that's what I'm here for. This time I'm starting in the lower right-hand corner because it's awkward, right? I always encourage starting in places that you feel awkward because then you just get used to it. You get more skilled to be like ambidextrous. Is that the word I'm looking for? Ambidextrous, right? Where you can do it both ways. Is that what that means? I think so. So I would not normally start in the lower right corner because my hand is going to rub over it, right? Unless I'm going freestyle and I'm lifting my disculpe, por favor. Es mi mochilo on el piso right there. I'm on the video. Por favor, puedes traer? Sí, gracias. Yeah, I left my backpack and now there's a table sitting there. So I asked the gal to get it for me because well, she doesn't know I'm live on camera. She just probably thinks I'm demanding. Muchísimas gracias, muy amable. I don't know. I mean, it's what do I look like an obnoxious woman yelling orders while I'm sitting here? What looks like I'm just doodling? I mean, to the naked eye, I am doodling, right? But it's so much more than doodling. Although tell yourself it's doodling if it gets you to do it, right? If a whole concept of doing continuous line makes you break out in a sweat, call it doodling, call it chicken scratches. You know, my buddy, he's such a good buddy, I can't remember his name. Antonio in San Miguel. He worked at one of the big hotels, and I would work with him when I would bring my groups there, right? And he was one of the managers of the hotel, right? So he was so funny. He'd be like, I love your scratches. You're the best scratcher I've ever met. And I was like, scratch? Oh, scratchers. Yeah. And you know what's really kind of funny is this is scratching basically, right? I'm scratching into the paper, right? So, I kind of like being known as, so every time I would see him, he'd be like, oh, there's my favorite scratcher. So, call it what you will. Doodling, scratching, line warm-ups, meditation, getting centered, getting quiet. I mean, that's what it does for me. Even though, oftentimes by the time I get here online with you, I'm fired up because I've just been riding my bike and now I'm having coffee. Honestly, I swear to God, as I get older, I get more like affected by coffee. Whereas I never even like noticed it before. Now I'll have a cup and I'll be like, I guess that's one of the things of getting older, it seems, right? I'm more sensitive to everything. I'm more sensitive to everything, which means I have to take better care. And I don't mind doing that. I like taking good care, right? I gotta watch what I eat, which is boring. It's boring sometimes watching what I eat. But honestly, as I'm sure many of you know, just by we've learned lessons, right? There's lots of things flying around on social media, on Facebook, like, have that piece of cake, have extra gravy, drink that bottle, go out dance, whatever it is. But it's basically saying, like, you know, life's short, we're all gonna die, so have the dessert. And I totally get it, and I certainly have had my fair share of dessert. But honestly, sometimes dessert destroys me. Oh my God, I'm laughing because I remember my mom used to always say that. Like, hey, Mom, you want some fruit salad? Oh, no, it destroys me. Everything destroys me. And now I'm the same. Oh, no, I can't. That destroys me. Oh, my God, I'm going to have to tell my sister-in-law that because we used to laugh at my mom. Everything destroyed her, right? And now I totally get it because it destroys me too. Sometimes I don't mind being destroyed, like if it's a good piece of cake. There's a new cafe that opened right around the corner there. And in the window, it's a Jewish deli. It's a really good Jewish deli, pastrami, bagel, lox, the whole deal. And in the window, they have those, they're not croissants, but they're rolled croissants. So they're circles. And they're filled with vanilla cream, and they're dipped in chocolate, right? I know that there's a name for them, and they're very hot. I see them on Instagram. They're a croissant that's rolled into a circle and dipped in chocolate, and then rolled in pistachios and stuffed with vanilla. I mean, it's off the charts, right? And honestly, though, I haven't had one yet. I keep looking at it. I keep taking pictures of them. You know, I haven't had one yet because I know it's going to destroy me. But my plan was to get myself one after I did my sketchbook school with Danny Gregory and the gang. I was like, oh, I'm going to treat myself and get one of those. They're not croissants, but it's a croissant thing. What are they called? I'm going to have to go over there and ask them. So my plan was to get one of those after I successfully completed sketchbook school. I didn't want to buy it beforehand because what if I blew the whole operation up? Oh yeah, I need my binder clip. That's why it's hard starting on this side because the paper follows you then, right? So, okay, so then I did the sketchbook school and it went super well. Super, super, super well. And I was high as a kite just off of my own adrenaline. And so I went for a bike ride. And then a big bike ride, like an hour and a half. And then I went home and I was like, okay, just refresh and go out and get your pastry, your winnings, right? I said, oh, I'm just going to lay down for a second, right? Boom, out for the night. Boom. That happens sometimes, right? So, anyways, I'm doing maybe I'll go get one today, just have it in my house. Look, I'm having this whole conversation about a croissant thingy that will destroy me, thinking about, am I ready to be destroyed from a croissant? Maybe. It's the weekend. It's the weekend, right? And so, I don't know. Honestly, who cares that it's the weekend? I mean, I know some people like enjoy weekends, right? They're different. It's a different vibe, right? Like maybe if you have to work or work online or work in an office, and then you have the weekend time. But I'm always working in my house, and so it's always the same, right? But so I shouldn't put that on everyone just because my days are the same. There go the garbage guys. That one's called Lucia. All the garbage trucks have names. I think I've mentioned that. I talk about garbage trucks because it's so it's like its own little community, right? So its own little recycling center. So I like to watch it and see how they do that, right? They break down things super fast and sort it, and boom, someone comes running up and grabs it, and it's gone. Fascinating, right? Because I see here I go on garbage again. I remember when I lived in the United States, wherever I lived, it was like garbage came, picked it up, boom, gone. I still liked watching it, but I never really knew where it went. I don't know. Does anyone ever wonder where garbage goes? I do, especially now, right? Especially now, there just seems to be, I'm not going to get doomy and gloomy today, right? Because I think I did that the other day, and I don't want to be doomy and gloomy. I want to be informed, and I want to take care, right? So I like to be informed, and that's a fine line these days, being informed, because then all of a sudden you can be way down in the dungeons with all the doom and gloom. But then you just want to know, like, what's coming down the pike. I'm trying to do some in-person workshops here, so you got to kind of know if the world has gone haywire, right? I mean, that's a fine line, too. Sometimes people don't mind that it's going haywire, right? Cute little doggy. So many cute little doggies in this neighborhood. So I went out urban sketching yesterday. I went to the Mexico City Anthropology Museum, which is honestly one of the coolest museums. Maybe it's cool just because, I mean, it's world-class anthropology museum, right? Beautiful, beautiful historic museum. And I live a mile away from it. So I did my work yesterday, did what I needed to do. I had to go to the government SAT office, which I had to stand in line for a long time. Anyways, so at the end of the day, I zoomed over to the Anthropology Museum, which is honestly, it's so cool because first of all, it just reminds me we're all going to die. And I don't mean that like in a wretched way. I mean it like this is a museum that's filled with civilizations that have come and gone, right? And the mark that they made on the world during their time here, right? And it's fascinating. And my little doggy's looking at me like, who is she talking to? He's going like this, huh? Hi, cutie. Look, she just made me break my line because I'm waving to the cute dog who's going, who is that weirdo talking to? All right, so Anthropology Museum. We're all gonna die soon, and it's just an amazing historic museum, right? World class, filled with artifacts from Teotihuacan, from all over Mexico, right? And so I do little continuous lines of the things that I'm seeing. I mean, there's 1.5 million things in there. Bazillion and a half things. But you know what? I don't think any of it's stolen. I think it's all Mexican artifacts in a Mexican museum. Funny how that works, right? Because I know that isn't always the case these days. Although it does seem some museums are giving their looted goods back, right? So that's good. So last year, it came up in my memories already that I did there's a huge statue of Coatlicue, Aztec god. She's the mother of all the Aztec gods. Her name is Coatlicue. Her head is made out of 2 snakes. And she's got human hands and human hearts all over her, and a skull, and she's wearing a skirt of snakes. And she's super intense, man. She's super intense. She's the mother of all Aztec gods, right? So, it being Mother's Day weekend, it came up in my Facebook memories that I drew her 1 year ago, continuous line urban sketching. And so I was like, you know what? I've done my work. I'm going to go over there and see what is my continuous line urban sketch of Kotlaku a year later, right? So I went there. Last year I had this apparatus tied around me that held the camera like this. Didn't work so well because you move no matter what. You're just like, I'm drawing something, right? So the camera is very jiggly, right? So this time I set it up. Oh my goodness, this little doggy. I set it up where I sat on the floor and put my tripod over me. And of course that alerts the security guys because they're like, what is this one going to do? Is she going to knock down everything? But I've gotten pretty good at just being super small, right? Because especially when you're drawing stuff, sometimes people, I mean, I don't dare take out a selfie stick, but security guards and stuff like that, everyone's on alert, right? They're like, is she just going to what is she going to do, right? So I get myself very small. I'm drawing on my kneecap, and I'm right cuddled up to the bench, and I've got my tripod on there, right? So it's a much steadier view of me drawing. And I don't know if it's better, not that that was the goal. It's just that I was aware of more detail because I know more about Kotlaku. So that was my Mother's Day challenge. So I just slipped into my lines, right? I just kicked in the I can't even talk. The magic of it, right? It's helping to get the noise out of my head. Get the noise out of my head, right? Even though I've gone for a bike ride, which helps get the noise out of my head. And now I'm drawing. Now I'm sitting in the pretty corner cafe. Cute little doggy making goo-goo eyes at me. Oh man, I miss dogs. But for right now, I just have to make goo-goo eyes with neighbor dogs. And I'm doing my line warm-ups. I mean, honestly, it's a beautiful life, right? I mean, I'm going to say that. I'm going to speak for myself here. I really like the life that I've carved out for myself. I'm here in Mexico City. I love this city. It's just, I think most people have no idea what a charming city it is, right? Yeah, it's got problems, and there are certainly issues here. But I love living here because as an artist, it's a beautiful muse. I'm really got the hustle on right now, trying to change directions with my business, and it's all good. It's all good. It's, making me update everything across the board, and it's a fast changing world, right? I mean, technology and the way we gather events, the whole Zoom thing is super cool, but the Zoom thing is also a little unsatisfying, right? Like just for example, the class I did with Sketchbook School, I loved it, right? It was super amazing experience, but I was in my house by myself and I couldn't hear anyone or see anyone, so there's none of that energetic feedback, right? And that's you got to get used to that, right? Because that is our new reality. But honestly, I need to go have the face-to-face connection too. But is that going to kill us all now? I don't know. Oh, I hear some guys singing. I'm going to be in Chicago in July, and I'm trying to think. I know Janet mentioned that she would consider coming for a workshop. I'm wondering, do I have people that would want to meet me in Chicago for a half-day workshop? I don't even know if anyone can hear me right now because sometimes the connection at this place is not great. So I hope I still have a connection here with you all. I have to have a sip of coffee. I need my sip of coffee. There's a Chicago Sketch Symposium going on, and I'm going to be there for it. So I don't want to be the rude jerk who offers a workshop during their symposium, because I mean, not that I would take all their people, because I wouldn't and I can't, and that's not even me. Um, but I don't want to infringe on an event, and but I would do it another day anyways when their event was over. Um, but you know, I'm from Chicago, but I don't have a lot of connections there. It seems like I've been gone a long time, right? So, I mean, I have some, but it's not like, I feel like I have more connection in California. Um, and California is crazy. So I would love to like stir the pot in Chicago and elsewhere. So I know there's probably no one's going to see this or hear this. So I need to put a little action, call to action out there, as they say. Who wants to meet me in Chicago in July? Chicago, Chicago. Yeah, I haven't been to Chicago in a very long time, and I'm excited to see the girlfriends that I grew. I don't even have family there anymore. It's really weird. I don't have any family anywhere. I'm not being old boo-hooey. It's just weird how life happens, right? One day I'm a kid growing up in the Midwest, laughing at my mom, and the next minute everyone's gone. But I enjoy my life, the artist life here in Mexico City. And I love building communities. So it's super bright, yeah. So here we go. Coming to the end. Well, not the end. I think I'm just winding down this one. Gotta get some hearts in there, right? Finish big with a heart. Finish big with a heart. Finish big with a heart, right? Remind myself, go easy on myself. Go easy, go easy, go easy. Because I have anxiety, right? I have anxiety and I get scared. But I feel like it's going to be okay, right? If I just keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep just doing the work I feel called to do and encouraging others. Because I really do. I see how these lines have helped people, not my lines, their lines. I mean, maybe my lines. Maybe my lines help you to realize you can make your lines, because it's not about, oh, let me make my art and heal you, right? Like, I think yes, it's great to support other artists and everything, but honestly, I think it's, in this day and age, everyone should be making their own art, right? I mean, not everyone, those who are called to do so. Make your art, right? Because, yeah, sometimes it can make you feel bad, but generally speaking, it's going to make you feel better. It's going to make you feel better when you make your own art, because when you express your creativity, when you express yourself through art, when you take the time to curate your own art, curate your line, decide what you like, right? Decide what you don't like. I used to not like drawing cars. Now I love drawing cars, right? They're a good challenge. People. I know a lot of people don't like drawing people, but the more you do it, the easier it gets and the more fun you can have with it, right? So go easy on yourself, go easy on others. Finish big with a heart. Practice your lines. Tell your stories. Honestly, I think everyone feels better when they tell their stories. And there's my hearts. Finish big with the hearts. I fear that this connection is not great, but maybe it's just nobody loves me today. I can't really see. All right, everyone. Have a good Friday. See a lot of you in the fundamentals, and have a good weekend. Okay, bye.